The cannons shown in this video are dangerous and should not be attempted at home. I have the proper personal protective equipment and a functioning fire extinguisher. The cannons are an extreme fire hazard and if not done correctly could lead to significant property damage, injury, and possibly even death. In other words, don't do this yourself. Just sit back and watch me and see if you can solve the mystery that will be presented. Well, it's my great pleasure to introduce you to my newest arsenal, my cannons. And I'm in my backyard to do it because I really love lilacs. Anyway, here are my cannons, and I'm going to introduce each one to you and then kind of explain them and how they're different from one another. Going from left to right, we have Tiny Tina, Chuck Norris, that's what that one's called, and then Black Beauty, and then the one next to it with the camouflage is Duke, and then next to it is Dangerous Donna, and then the one next to it is Joyful Jenny, and then finally Big Brutus, named after my sister. So, what makes them different? Well, obviously, you probably note that there's three general sizes. There's the Tiny Tina size, and these four in the middle, they're kind of a mid-range size. And then there is the one on the end, the Big Brutus size, is the biggest, okay? So in terms of small, medium, large, which size do you think is going to be the loudest? If you've ever seen my cannons before, you know that I put some fuel in them and I ignite them, which I will be doing. And I want you to kind of take a guess right now. What do you think, which size range do you think will give the loudest? We have, like I say, the small, the medium range, and the large range. Now, what makes these things tick? Well, I'm going to start by describing using Big Brutus, because Big Brutus is big and easier to see into. So inside of Big Brutus, you can kind of see that there is something called metal baffles. And there are three metal baffles, and you can see that they go about halfway across. All right. And so there are three of them. They're staggered. So one baffle goes halfway across this way, and then the second one goes halfway across that way, and then the third goes halfway across that way. And so we have these baffles, and I'm going to say that Tiny Tina, Dangerous Donna, and Big Brutus all have the same design with regard to the baffles. So we'll pay attention to Tiny Tina, Dangerous Donna, and Big Brutus, because they all have baffling going halfway across. Now let's show you what's different about the four middle ones. We already know that Dangerous Donna has those three baffles staggered, each one going halfway across. So we know that that's true. Now we have Chuck Norris, and Chuck Norris is very handsome. But if you look inside of Chuck Norris, we see no baffles whatsoever. And so it's just a hollow tube straight on down. Then Black Beauty has just one baffle in the middle, which I'm holding my fingers by where that baffle is. And then we have Duke. And Duke has two baffles. One, I'll show you where they are. One by this at the top, one at the bottom. And they are also staggered. We talked about Dangerous Donna, and then that leaves us with Joyful Jenny. Joyful Jenny, I tried to make it, and you can kind of see, so that the baffles go a little bit further across than halfway, maybe 2/3 to about 3/4 of the way across. And so I wanted to, and it has it at 3 spots. Here, here, and here. And just like with the others, they are staggered. So in the terms of the middle 4, which one of those do you think will be the loudest? And so we'll see how that goes. Now, in order to make the measurements, we will do it 2 different ways. One, we'll do it by ear, which, since you're going to watch a video of this, it'll be harder to see, determine that. But I'll tell you what I think based on my hearing. And then I also have a decibel meter to measure the actual decibels of each explosion as they occur. And you will see the ratings on that. And then we'll try to put it all together and answer the question, which will be the loudest in terms of size, and then which will be the loudest in terms of the amount of metal baffling, and to make everything equal, those are all the same size. So that's what we're gonna do. I want you to think about what your hypothesis is going to be. Which one will be loudest in terms of size, which will be loudest in terms of the amount of metal. And truthfully, I'm not sure until I do the experiment myself. And then once we figure that out, we'll have to do some more analysis to think what next. Okay, let's light them off. Cannon number 1, which is Tiny Tina. Here we go. Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris is pretty loud. The Black Beauty. Duke. Dangerous Donna. Now it's time for Joyful Jenny. And last but certainly not least, Big Brutus. All right, so let's try to bring this video to a close. So I'm showing you first the first set of questions, the first question I asked you, which is which of the 3 sizes will be the loudest. And in each case I have, for each of the cannons, I have baffling that goes at 3 locations, like I showed you earlier, that go halfway across. And based on my ear, I would give a different answer than based on the decibel reader. So Tiny Tina had a measurement of 110.9 decibels. Donna, Dangerous Donna, had a measurement of 120.7 decibels, and Big Brutus 123.7 decibels. So based on the decibel meter, Big Brutus would be the loudest, next loudest Dangerous Donna, and then the softest is Tiny Tina. Yet by ear, to me, it sounded like Dangerous Donna was the loudest, and then Big Brutus, Tiny Tina. So we have all 5 of the cannons of the same size. We have, let's remember, Chuck Norris, no metal. Black Beauty, 1 piece of metal in the middle. Duke has 2 pieces of metal. You can kind of see him if you look down there. Going halfway across at 2 places. Dangerous Donna halfway across at 3 places. And then we have Joyful Jenny, which is somewhere between 2/3 and 3/4 of the way across. And so you made your decisions based on the amount of metal that's present. And so let's go through the decibel readings again. So decibel wise, Chuck Norris had 110.9, sorry, 119.4. Black Beauty had 118.1 decibels. Duke, 116.4. Dangerous Donna, 120.7. And Joyful Jenny, 118.5. Now, this was the most surprising group of cannons for me, because when I've done this in the past with other cannons, my other cannons, these are replacement cannons, the one with no metal always was the softest, and the one with the most metal was always the loudest. But we didn't find that based on, and that was based on ear. And if I were going by ear, I would have said Chuck Norris was louder than I expected. So I would have went Black Beauty, Chuck Norris. Duke and Chuck Norris to me felt about the same. Dangerous Donna, and then Joyful Jenny. That would be the order that I had. So again, my order would have been Black Beauty, and then Chuck Norris and Duke were kind of, I thought, tied, and then Dangerous Donna and then Joyful Jenny would have been the loudest. But the decibel meter disagrees. The decibel meter didn't really find an exact trend. In fact, it kind of went all over the place. So if I were to go by ranking by decibels, boy, would this have been. I'm going to arrange them according to, from lowest to highest, according to what I'm seeing in decibel readings. So I'm going to rearrange this, and I'm going to do it right now. And this is what you get. Duke was the lowest, followed by Black Beauty, followed by Joyful Jenny, followed by Chuck Norris, followed by Dangerous Donna. This did not follow anything like I would have guessed based on just the decibel readings. Again, I don't know if it's my decibel meter that's off or if it's my ear that's off, because my ear, I've had my hearing tested, and truthfully at the low ends and at the high ends of the ranges, I don't hear as well. You know, so high pitches, low pitches, and so they're clearly going to be different pitches, and so it's hard for me to know for sure. But this is what we found. How does that compare to what you thought? Sometimes science doesn't give clear-cut answers, and the truth is, if I really wanted to do this much more rigorously, which I really don't, I think this was good enough for what I'm trying to get done. The truth is, I would have repeated this several times and calculated averages and standard deviations and done more statistics and get a better sense of what the real trends are. And that's something we can learn from this as well. Just doing it one time doesn't necessarily give us an answer. We'd have to do it multiple times and see what we find. But at this point, I'm just not finding a trend based on metal that it just seems to be all over the map. So there's probably some other variables that I am not holding steady and consistent throughout. And so that is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed this. I'm trying to put together other videos that you can watch on YouTube, and I'll have this on a playlist, and you'll be able to try some of the other demos that I have done. Until next time, this is Dr. Picklestein signing off.